Not too long ago, I beat my first Skyrim challenge with only a single class of magic, which to everyone's surprise was destruction. I mean, it makes sense. I like setting things on fire, and I'm banned from all fire stations in all of Austria. But that's not the point of this video. Skyrim has more classes of magic. So today I'm going to ask the question, can you beat Skyrim with only Conjuration magic? Part 1. Why Part 1, you might ask? Well, in my destruction only video, I came to realize how boring it is to both record and to write for a video if you only know the 3 basic spells. So here in Part 1, I am going to cheese the game a bit. And Part 2 will be a regular, non-cheesy challenge run. But I'll tell you more about this later. Okay, let's do this. And I started the run with a mistake. And I made this mistake while making my character Coco. Bretons already know a Conjuration spell at level 1. Which I forgot. God damn it, Rex. Well, so I made my character a wood elf and went on my merry way through a destroyed Helgen. As soon as we were in Helgen Keep and I got my hands freed, I went into the console commands and leveled my Conjuration stat up to 100. Can I also just say how much I hate the pronunciation of Conjuration? I can barely get it out. And you might be asking why? Well, so I can level up more, have access to better spells, and just have much more fun in general. But for now, due to my own stupidity, I did not have a single spell for Conjuration, so I had to make my way out of Helgen Keep by running for my life. Once I reached Whiterun, I took the carriages to both Dawnstar and Solitude to rob them of their precious trade chests. I was hoping for a piece of clothing that would make Conjuration spells cost less, but this time around I didn't have much luck. I would return to these chests ever so often during the run for the sole reason that is, more cheese. In Solitude, I also visited the court wizard vampire lady and bought all Conjuration spells off of her. And with this haul, I now had the following spells under my belt. Bound Battle Axe, Bound Sword, Conjure Familiar, Conjure Flame Atronach, Raise Zombie, and Reanimate Corpse. Honestly, with that setup, I already saw myself kicking Alduin's ass all the way back to Sovngarde. But the first test, as always, was Bleakfall Sparrow, after telling the Jarl of Whiterun what had happened in Helgen. In Bleakfall Sparrow, I tried out all the spells I had in my arsenal at this point, and came to realize that the Conjure Flame Atronach spell was the best one of them all, despite their shots being more or less accurate. But that was a risk I was ready to face. Speaking of risks, as an extra challenge for myself during this run, I am trying not to use any potions at all, and do my healing via restoration magic. I did something similar in the destruction magic only run, which led me to only using 5 potions during the entire run. But here, I really want to not use a single one, so the only ones I am picking up are for selling. Okay, back to business. I retrieved the Dragonstone and now it is time to face our first dragon. Honestly, with the power of the other Whiterun guards and Irilov, and of course my Flame Atronachs, the dragon was cut down into pieces in no time. Also thanks to it getting stuck on terrain. And thus it was discovered that Coco was the Dragonborn. The Greybeards called her up to High Hrothgar, and we followed the call. Between the call and arriving in the mountains, I checked the chests again, but once again no goodies were there, and the cats also weren't there around so I could punch them. Wow, that sounds bad out of context. The Greybeards tested Coco and declared her worthy, thank you very much. In Ustengrav, I picked up the Become a Feral shout, because I did not do that in a destruction only run. And then I suffered greatly during the Alduin fights. Well, Ustengrav was nothing to greatly discuss here. The Flame Atronachs cut through the spiders and skeletons as if they were made out of warm, skeleton-y butter. This leads us to our first meeting with the Blades. And honestly, I'm surprised Delphine and Esbern both don't eat stones. Well, we gotta slay a dragon with Delphine, which was surprisingly hard. Delphine and the Atronachs both did not have the best aim, so I decided for future dragon fights I would use the Bound Sword spell, as I couldn't really rely on my companions to slay all the dragons for me. But in the end, it was Slade. Coco absorbed its soul, and Delphine finally believed me. The next mission was the infiltration of the Falmer embassy, and honestly, great fun. My Atronax killed each and every single one of the goldenrods, often with great explosions, which my pyromaniac self found great enjoyment in. And the deeds that Esbern was still alive were retrieved. Between the Falmer embassy and saving Esbern, I took a quick pit stop in Morphle, where I visited the trainer for conjuration spells, and learned the spells Conjure, Frost, Atronac, and Revenant. A spell I didn't even use once. Oops. Well, in the rat way, I found Esbern, and I had an oopsie there. Esbern got stuck in his little hideout, which I didn't notice. I just found it strange that no Falmers were spawning by the time I wanted to head back to Delphine's. So I went there without him. Told her I had found him and that he was on his way. And she basically called me a dumb fuck for leaving him alone, and that I had to get back right away. I never had this piece of dialogue before, so that was funny. Well, I went back to Riften and pushed him just in the right way, which finally unstuck him, and then the Falmer spawned. Big fail. Oh well. Next on we had to find Alduin's wall, which... yeah. By simply fast traveling to Markarth and going from there, the location was easy to find. On the way there, 2 dragons spawned, but I only bothered to kill 1, and Esbern also finally saw me as the Dragonborn. Inside of the dungeon, I finished the easiest puzzles ever, let Esbern yap a bit, and now it was off to meet Pathanax. Well, I would say that, but I went against the grain for once, and did the mission to get the Elder Scroll first. Let me visit the crazy dude first, get his fancy cube, and then fight my way through Blackreach. From here on, I started relying heavily on both the Flame and Frost Atronax, and they became my most used spell in the whole game. They actually did quite well against the dwarven weapons of mass destructions. I solved the puzzle for getting the Elder Scroll, and now it is endgame time. At the throat of the world, I meet Pathanax, and greeted him as the Dover do. Since I already had the Elder Scroll, I read it there out loud and summoned Alduin. This fight was actually rough. I nearly died several times because of the meteors that Alduin had summoned, and my Atronax weren't dealing as much damage as I was hoping they would. I was relying heavily on my strategy from the Destruction Only video, where I swapped between certain pieces of clothing to use their enchantment to either increase my health or make Magicka regenerate faster. In the end, it was a clutch, but we slayed Alduin and he fucked off into the afterlife. The Peace Council was the Peace Council. No idea what you would want me to say here. I only used it to bully Ulfric. And then I captured a dragon and rode it to Skuldafn. And since I had no potions and was very afraid, I just ran. I ran a lot like a coward, at least in the outside parts, since there were 2 dragons and I didn't know if I could face them alone. Inside of the temple, I beat everyone's ass. And now it was time to face Alduin and Sovngarde. And you know what? Fucking Sun nearly killed me. That would have been a plot twist for the ages if you ask me. Together with the 3 heroes, we defeated Alduin, even though I missed Dragon Rend on him ways too often, which was super embarrassing if you ask me. I also used the sword here and there, as I wasn't trusting my Atronax, but they were okay and did a fair amount of damage too. In the end, I did the final blow on Alduin and proved yes, you can beat Skyrim with only Conjuration, Part 1. And honestly, Conjuration is way more fun than I thought it would be. After the Destruction Only video and being kind of disappointed, I got the idea from a friend that I should do the challenge in 2 ways, and that made recording this video way more fun. And normally I don't really use this school of magic because my favorite school of magic is Blunt Force to the Skull. Well, I think from now on I'll also use more Conjuration in my normal non-challengey runs. The second part of this challenge will come later this year, hopefully in the next few months if my busy schedule allows me to do so. And that one will be without any cheese. Just a pure way how you would get through the game without any exploits or console comments. I'm already looking forward to it. All in all, this challenge took me 3 hours and 55 minutes to beat, making it my quickest run of Skyrim so far. And as you can see here, I didn't use a single potion, beating this part of the challenge too. Anyways, this was my video on beating Skyrim with only Conjuration magic. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope I'll see you next time. Bye bye!